And y'all, I thought that episode 8 was crazy. Effie handles Lauren. Brayden gonna have to handle Trace, and Monet got plans to handle Lorenzo. What's good, y'all? It's your guest, Erica Vane, coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Power Book 2 Ghost video. In this video, we are going to jump in and break down episode 9. Now that you're here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss any of my Power Book 2 Ghost videos. Last night, I had the time of my life in the middle of the night, right after the episode premiered at midnight. Talking with y'all live right here on the channel. If you missed it, the replay is up right now so that you can go back and see what a lot of people were talking about. I answered a ton of questions, give quick thoughts for the episode, as well as really deep dive into a few predictions. So that video will be linked in the cards above, as well as the description box down below. Without further ado, let's get into this breakdown. The episode opens on Tariq having a nightmare where he is visited by the ghosts of Jabari, Carrie, Lakeisha, Ray, Kanan, Proctor, Raina, all of them confronted him about how he is the reason why they are all dead, and before he can run out of the room, he runs into Lauren, who is on her way into the room. This is a mixture of foreshadowing and symbolism. At this point in the timeline, Lauren is not dead, and she's walking into the room of dead people as Tariq begs her not to go in. Later on in the episode, he convinces her to run and is hoping to protect her from the bullet that she has coming for wearing that wire and trapping Brayden and Kane on the tape, creating even bigger ties and more information for Jenny's case. But we're gonna come back to Lauren later. Rashad and his brother Kamal have a conversation about Jenny Sullivan and how she is calling Rashad to the stand next in the trial because Kamal disclosed that Rashad knows Tariq well and his family history. During the course of this conversation, Kamal reveals there is a woman who says she is a witness to Jabari Reynolds' murder, and he's ignoring it because he thinks that there's no truth to her claims. We have experienced female witnesses in power before, and while downplayed in the moment, this is going to be a huge puzzle piece that is sure to blow up the lives of our favorite characters later. Kamal asks Tate if he should entertain this witness, and with 100% confidence and a smirk, Rashad responds no, reassuring his brother that his instincts are spot on and he has no reason to engage with this person. However, everything from Rashad's smile and tone and the scene's music choices tells us that this is a lie. It's at court that we figure out just how much of a lie it is, as Tate sets the stage for Davis to question him about the supposed witness in the hopes of creating an opportunity for a mistrial, with the understanding that a part of the prosecution's team was withholding evidence and hiding an eyewitness. Tariq brought out the old dog out of Rashad before he took the stand in that bathroom scene, as he is slow to turn over that Sweeney blackface picture he needs to ensure that Tate doesn't get on the stand and say something that won't help his case. Good thing he handed that picture over. From here, the episode picks up speed with us seeing Monet, who has quickly found herself at home at Dante's. She is still trying to get in contact with Zeke while Zeke is reaching out to Dante, and Dante is putting extra miles on his split personality because he leaves Monet to go and see Zeke, but not before swinging by his penthouse, threatening Kane, but also giving him all access to the place, and unceremoniously giving him a promotion to his number 2. He forces Kane to call Lorenzo and tell him about the re-up that was stolen, creating tension as Lorenzo demands Kane come home, while Mecca waits off in the background for him to get off the phone and to bring his focus back to where he is. Lorenzo is sent spiraling with the news about the re-up and is enlightened by Drew as to what is going on and how he wound up productless and with a wife that he had to toss out of the house. Diana and Drew cook up a plan to rob Tariq for the product that they just robbed from Mecca in the hopes of making things right for Lorenzo. While executing his part of the plan, which is retrieving Everett's student key card, we get a moment where Ev points out how Drew's right hand is fully healed and maybe he can create a tattoo for him now, which Drew responds he doesn't do that anymore. It's almost as if Drew is fully submitting to the expectations placed on him from his family business and walking into a season of rejecting the things that he wants and needs. This is driven home by the mirror moment he has seemingly unrecognized in himself. And the Emmy goes to Diana, who plays the damsel in distress better than anyone in history, as she turns on the waterworks, reveals the truth about Monet and Zeke, and manages to get the QR code for the drug lockers from Tariq's phone, all in a matter of minutes. Diana's going to need to learn to fight or shoot or something because she is digging herself deeper into people's business and all of their mess, and I'm not sure if this Staten Island pretty girl can hold her own when there's other things besides words being thrown, you know, like hands and bullets. Needless to say, Drew and Diana succeed at their lick, and this is going to come back on them, so I hope that Lorenzo's approval was worth it. I'm going to go back to Dante and Monet real quick at Dante's house talking to Zeke, because after a quick meetup at the bar, Dante convinces Zeke to come and speak to Monet, and while she's giving the backstory and trying to explain herself, we hear Dante say, "When I saw you and her on ESPN, it was like I was hit by lightning." And Monet says, "After Lorenzo kicked me out, I came straight here, stayed up all night worrying about you." When Zeke asked, did she know anything about, or did she have anything to do with Carrie? And Dante lies and backs her up in the hopes of convincing Zeke that he can trust Monet again. Now, it's not really clear in the moment if Zeke buys it or if he doesn't. It really just feels like he's kind of fed up. And he responds to the whole thing saying, "Once I get drafted, I'm gone by myself and you can both forget about me again." Now, I think that this is very important to note, specifically his dialogue, because he goes on to do a press conference and there's even more commotion created around his journey and his story in this episode. And at first thought, and I talked about this on my live last night, it seems as though Dante was creating these trials to be able to push his family together. So we know that he already was playing both sides when it comes to being the connect, then also reaching out to Monet directly, trying to get close to Lorenzo once Monet started to back away, keeping Kane very close, just doing very strategic things. And while we were on live, we were talking and we were like, maybe Mecca's the one who sent the people to shoot at them. Maybe Mecca's the one who actually revealed Zeke's age. But when I went back to create this video and I rewatched the episode, and then hearing Zeke say, "Once I'm drafted, I'm gone by myself, you can both forget about me again," that put in my head that it was probably Monet, because everything starts to spiral then. When we see Dante and Zeke interact, he's literally like, "We can get you a private coach. This is not going to be the end of everything. We're going to get ahead of your whole age thing. This is not going to be a problem." Dante is coming with nothing but solutions, and I don't think that he's actually creating these problems, but then presenting a solution before the problem is created, because the bar conversation happens well before that. And then even when the whole age thing comes out, he's like, "Well, we can get a PR team and we can spin it. Whatever I want to happen can happen." I 100% believe that once Monet heard him say that he was gone off by himself in an effort to keep control, she outed his age to remove the possibility of him actually getting to go to whatever team. Now, I think she did so not to completely ruin his career, but to stop him in his tracks from work so he couldn't go anywhere immediately. And then that would give her more time to figure out how to put their family back together, how to win his trust back, and then figure out how to get him on the team. The same way that I feel like she orchestrated the drive-by at the basketball court reads all Monet to me, because one, Mecca's team that we have seen illicit attacks was very diverse. There was women on the team, men on the team, light, dark, a bunch of variety in his team. The people who were hanging out of this Suburban or this Cadillac or whatever this dark SUV is and doing this drive-by were both black men, and I think the driver was black as well. I think Monet orchestrated this drive-by to try to elicit some type of fear response or a need to go on the offensive response specifically for Dante, because she has been coming with this narrative of we have to kill Lorenzo, and this is a way to speed up that process. Monet is playing chess and she's attempting to regain control over all of the pieces on the board, because as of yet she has lost that. Now, when we first met her in season 1 of Ghost, she had all of the control over a lot of the players that are on the board, and these little strategic moments and these strategic acts are the ways that she feels like she's going to actually regain control. But I'm going to talk about that more in a video coming up this week on the channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. I'm dropping a new Power Book 2 Ghost video every day this week, because this episode has so much that we need to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it all. But back to the breakdown. If I have one question from the episode, it's why do they keep putting Zeke on stage? TV or in press conferences, especially 12 hours after finding out his aunt is his mama, his father ain't in jail, and the love of his life has killed herself, allegedly. That was a setup. Moving on. Brayden tries to lie to Jenny Sullivan, but that plan gets blown up as Trey sits right next to him and starts leaking like a broken faucet, telling everything about the time last season when Kane kidnapped them and made them sell drugs in the hood. He goes as far as to say that Kane is Tariq's drug dealing partner and that the cop, Ramirez, stopped Kane from killing them. He admits that Ramirez works for Kane before he starts making his own speculations, which could ultimately give Jenny the whole case if either of them came to testify on the details and provide evidence against Tariq. Tariq and Brayden have a brief fight about Tariq stealing Sweeney's photo and giving it to Tate, and he has no idea the kind of pressure that Brayden is under and trying not to fold with. It's in this moment when the audience is not clear of what Brayden is going to do next and if he's going to stand in his loyalty to Tariq even after being crossed by him and pressured by the prosecutor. Tariq has a moment of reflection with Effie thinking about Yaz and her pending adoption. He takes a moment to admit that maybe Yaz is better off away from him because bad things happen to everyone around him. And Effie quickly dismisses this idea, reassuring him that he isn't the center of everything and most of them had whatever happened coming to them. When she mentions Carrie, she says she definitely did that to herself, and it's not just because it looked like it was a suicide, but because she inserted herself into situations that were clearly life-threatening. She says she doesn't understand it because, and I quote, "all I ever wanted to do was survive." This is going to be very, very important when I do my Effie video this week, y'all, because she's becoming a bigger piece to the puzzle that is Power Book 2 Ghost and a major player very quickly. Be sure to subscribe. Tariq moves the conversation from Yaz to the people hurt in his vicinity to Lauren, who he feels like is just like his mother and doesn't deserve to run when all she wanted was straight A's and a nice boyfriend. To further explain, he reveals that she got Kane and Brayden on the wire, which Effie responds, "She got Kane on the wire?" Now, Effie shouldn't have to hear about Tariq sulk and pine after his ex, especially because her feelings for him are growing like a snowball in an avalanche. And she is right about the fact that Lauren is dangerous. Case in point, she was his girlfriend and is the reason that he is currently on trial for murder. But her great points and passions don't change the fact that she honed in on Kane when mentioned, as if she knows him, like knows him. From there, Effie meets up with Kane to tell him about Lauren, the wire, and the problems it presents. And she is entirely too comfortable and familiar with him, so there is definitely some history there. Well, actually, he's comfortable with her as well. Not only did she tell on Lauren, she also makes it known that Tariq is the one who told her and is helping Lauren to run. When Kane taps Brayden in, he tells him that a friend told him this information. Again, he is very comfortable referring to her in this way. Brayden winds up being the one to go get Lauren and help her run, which I thought was a completely idiotic move on Lauren's behalf. Ma'am, you got this boy and another boy on a wire after knowing full well that you were trying to catch some evidence on this boy, and then you are going to believe that this is the guy that's going to cart you off to safety when Tariq just told you that you're in danger because you did what you did about this boy and another boy on a wire. Make it make sense, hon. But ultimately, Brayden chooses against the plans which were laid out for him by Kane with very clear consequences. But he chooses against killing Lauren and decides to give her money instead to help her run. But before Brayden can finish his plan to release Lauren because he can't kill her, Effie pulls up and takes her off of his hands. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now, y'all. I don't think that Effie actually killed Lauren. We have not seen a body. I have not seen a post from Stars yet. So I'm holding out and saying that I don't think that Effie actually killed her. We do see Effie at the end of the episode in deep grief or guilt. Definitely pensive. So it could be because she actually took Lauren out, but I also think that it's more likely that she made a decision that she actually was not comfortable with, that was outside of the norm. And even though it would have been better for her personally as well as professionally to get rid of Lauren, she probably chose not to, which is going to make everything complicated for everybody, especially if she has an existing relationship with Kane and she knows that this will compromise Kane because she got him on the wire. It just makes it so much complicated goodness that way. Now, back at the ranch, or the penthouse, where Mecca is holding Kane towards the end of the episode after he realizes that his bag is gone, and he admits that he knows that Kane is responsible for the drug hit, but he wants his bag back and he wants it now. He removes all access for Kane, locks him in here, and then Kane calls Monet thinking that he's being set up to be killed. And Monet, knowing better, knowing what it sounds like, is able to help put two and two together after asking a few questions, and is right there waiting for Mecca when he returns. And then she says, "This is exactly what you wanted, isn't it? Holding my son here, keeping him alive long enough to come up with a master plan. You gonna tell him about yourself, or should I?" Then Kane has some little banter about, oh, you know, my mama, yada yada yada. And then she says to put us in a position so that we can't say no to his ass. It's this little mini monologue for me that really confuses me about Monet, because if she put two and two together, if she figured out that all of this was a manipulation, then how are we supposed to believe that you're going to go along with his plan? Oh, we're only supposed to believe it if you're going to wind up double crossing him after the fact. So some people on the live asked me if I really think that Monet wants to kill Lorenzo, and I'm actually going to talk about that more in my preview video, so I'm not going to get into that here. But she's definitely giving shaky vibes, and she's definitely giving, she potentially could take out both of these men, Mecca and Lorenzo, because she might be done with the both of them, because I don't necessarily trust all that she's saying by the end of this scene. And then I also don't necessarily trust that Kane is going to be 100% going for taking out his father, even after all his father has put him through. I mean, she even lies to him about not being a part of the actual hit on him in the product, and tells him that Lorenzo was behind it. Sounds like Monet the master manipulator at work. And as I mentioned, the episode ends with Effie, who returns to Tariq's dorm, seeming sad and maybe guilty. The song that's playing is the key for me, and part of the lyric says, "There's something about the truth that don't feel right. At least this way I know I'll sleep at night." And I will leave it there. Thank you so much for checking out my episode 9 breakdown. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so that you know when I drop my episode 10 trailer breakdown video, as well as my previews and additional character videos. I'm coming to you with new videos every day this week, maybe even twice a day this week, and you don't want to miss it, so turn on your bell notifications after you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like and hop down in the comment section right now and tell me what you thought about episode 9. What are you expecting for episode 10? And what do you feel like was the best thing from season 2? You can watch my live breakdown and initial thoughts video by clicking right here, and we can have a conversation about if Ghost and Ramona are going to adopt Yaz by clicking this video right here.